then I'll count it down.
Hello, Benjies. Welcome to the Bingeworthy Podcast, part of the Geekish Network. My name is Johnny Randolph, and I am a speaker trainer and a podcaster. And I've got three badass co-hosts with me. My first co-host, she is an actress, she's a writer, she's a director, she's a superstar, she's the dynamic diva. Say hello to the people, Miss Courtney Scott Wright.
Hello.
And my next co-host, he's an actor, he's a general badass, and I call him the Game Spitter because every day on Geek Beast and right here on the Bingeworthy Podcast, you can catch him spitting that fire. Say what's up to the people, Centel.
Yo, what's cracking, baby? I'm gonna enjoy this Bingeworthy because I'm looking into y'all's eyes, and I don't know if y'all want these fights coming.
Who you pointing at? You pointing at Randy? Randy, he pointing at you.
You know who I'm pointing at.
Hey, let it be, son. Let the boys in the hood stare. And we got to give a shout out to one of our missing co-hosts, Mr. Chuck Babb. You know, he's out there doing his thing, but he'll be back next week. But for right now, we're going to get into the Bingeworthy Podcast. Now, the premise of our show is that we will engage in a high-level, profoundly deep, and entertaining conversation. And then we will rate a property based on our unique binge-worthy scale. But first of all, we will binge watch an entire series throughout the week. Then we come right here and we talk about it. At the beginning of the show, we will rate that series based on our unique binge-worthy scale. Then we engaged in conversation. And at the end, we re-rate that property. Maybe the conversation can influence one of the co-hosts to change their opinion. Now, speaking of our binge-worthy scale, our scale is as followed. At a number 5, it is a full binge out. That just means it is out of sight. It is the bomb. It's one of those great shows, you might curl up with your boo over the weekend, watch it in 1 or 2 sessions because it's just that good. Now, at a number 4 is what we call a full meal. A full meal, it is not quite a full binge out, but it is definitely worth your time to watch that series. At a number 3, it is a mini meal. A mini meal isn't bad. It's just not good. Courtney always describes it as it's like a TV dinner. It's kind of like, and I always say it's a TV dinner without all the Lyra seasoning. It's just bland. At a number 2 is a snack. A snack you just watching because ain't shit else on. It's one of those times where nothing's been released new on Netflix or Hulu or any of the streaming services. The NBA is over with, the NFL is over with, and all is on is that in baseball, and you don't want to watch that shit. So you're just watching it to fill up the time. And then we have a number 1, and that is a cringe-worthy, and that's just some old bullshit. And as I always say, even in his absence, I'm gonna give him a hard time. Chuck, why the hell did you recommend that we watch this? It was just a colossal waste of our time. And in tonight's program, we're going to be reviewing Arcane. Now, the premise of Arcane is amidst the escalating unrest between the advanced utopian city of Piltover. Am I pronouncing that right? Piltover, and the squalid, repressed undercity of Zon, sisters V and Jinx find themselves on opposing sides of a war over twisted ideologies and arcane technology. So we're going to go ahead and rate this. We'll start off with you, Centel, man. How are you going to rate Arcane?
Listen, it's very few times where I'll see a series that made me think, I know it's top 3, but is it top 3 of just this year? Is it top 3 of the last 3 to 4 years? Is it top 3 of the last 5 years. That is the level of dopeness that I had and experienced when I watched Arcane. It is hands down binge-worthy. Outside of maybe Jujutsu Kaisen, I don't know what else is going to carry the throne for #1 animated series of 2021. That shit was fire.
Attack on Titan. And that's not counting Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan is good. It is, but it's not this. This is different. And this is one
you
series.
You haven't watched the last season.
This is 1 year.
Okay.
I know. Yeah, this is 1 year.
Okay.
Attack on Titan has a span of a few years. Okay. Attack on Titan is really good, though.
Yeah, I'm like,
really
but even
good.
this last season of Attack on Titan, I don't think you finished it.
No, I haven't finished it. I haven't closed it out completely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to jump in here, and I'm going to have to echo a lot of Centel's sentiments. I'm giving it a full binge out. I thought this was just amazing storytelling. It's got great characters. It's got a strong villain. It's got a great look. Even the soundtrack, the score, it was banging. I was like, wait. I'm like, is that Pusha T? Did they got on the score?
It was Pusha T.
I had to Google it. I was like, it sounds a lot like Pusha T. And it sure enough, it was Pusha T. Jasmine Sullivan, Sting. So it just all came together like the perfect Thanksgiving dinner. So I'm giving it a full binge out as well. All right, Miss Dynamic Diva, how are you going to rate Arcane?
So initially, when I started watching this series, I was a little irritated because once again, Chuck's like, we got to do this. We got to do this show. All the hype is trending. Everyone's loving it. And yeah, I'm ragging on Chuck because he's not here. Everyone's loving it. And listen,
you go watch it.
Listen. Chuck is 0 for like 3 when it comes to the must watch and the trending shows that we need to watch. And I come in as the salty siren, just ready to be mad, because I'm just expecting asshole. I'm expecting bullshit. I'm expecting bullshit. Just am. And so I watched the pilot. I watched the pilot, and I was initially like, the look of it was stunning. The way the characters were drawn, fantastic. Like even the world that was created. But I was underwhelmed by the story in the pilot because for me, it looked like basic story. These two little white sisters running around, you big sister Vi, little sister Powder, who's a little bit annoying, bloody, basic Oliver Twist kind of situation. They running around like Artful Dodger and all kinds of nonsense. So the pilot ended and I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And I think I waited a couple weeks. In order to like finish the series, or I waited a week because, binge-worthy. I guess I started it and then picked it back up. Episode 2. Episode 2, it popped off. It popped off a little bit more because then I was invested and I saw something different. In episode 3, I always tell people, you got to give a show 3 episodes for it to show you its legs, to show you what the foundation really is. Because the pilot isn't always giving you the nuts and bolts of a series. So you should always give a show 3 episodes. So from that point on, it was smooth sailing. I understood this is the one time that Chuck gets an A+ gold star. I'm wearing my gold hat for Chuck. For this series, this is a solid gold series. I understand why it's got 9.5s, 9.8s on the scale. It's a solid binge-worthy. I had to bow down to Senior Charles. Sir Charles. Give him. He called it. He's got 1. He's 1 for 3.
I remember in our group chat, and I remember I was saying, I was like, I'm feeling it. And you were like, I saw the first episode, I was feeling it. And I was like, because a part of me was like, man, go in and be like, how dare you sit there? And I was like, nope, I'm going to just be quiet and let her keep watching it. And I didn't hear anything from you. And when I knew I didn't hear anything from you, I was like, I think she might like it.
Well, I didn't say anything because nobody was saying, because I've always find out Chuck always jumps in the group chat and was like, no, save it for the show.
Right.
So with the exception of like, I think whatever we watched last week that I've completely forgot because I remember hating it.
No, whatchamacallit, Cowboy Bebop, the live version is what we did last week.
Right. I trashed that. So after that, and like I just didn't, Chuck didn't even bother telling me off in that group chat because he knew it was bad. But I held it. But as we get into it, I'll tell you what really sold me on this series as we get into it.
Well, to be on the surface, just shallow, I was impressed by the look of it. It just looked so beautiful. And there were certain parts of it. I think it was the scene between it was the black guy and Jinx. Like it started like all black and white.
You just jumped ahead. I thought we were gonna wait. Okay. That was episode 7.
I'm not talking about I'm just talking about the look. I don't want to talk. I was just talking about the look of it. So when it was just doing all these things, I was just like, wow, this shit is amazing. So even if I didn't care about the story of it, the look of it was just amazing. So I just want to know, how did you guys feel about the look, or what stood out to you guys about the look of the series?
I kept thinking, I was like, how much did this cost? Because the art is on a level of theatrical. And this is a series, and I'm like, this is a labor of love. When you look at any
it could have been live action, like it could have, like, I'm looking at this like, if these are not live people, I don't know what is.
It was about the closest thing we ever gonna get, or at least
it's the closest thing we're ever gonna get to live computer animated people.
Here's something that's gonna really jack you up, and it jacked me up when I found out. There's no stop motion with the mouth. There's nobody with dots.
No mocap?
There's no mocap.
No, I didn't think there was mocap.
There's none.
I'm just saying.
It was good to the point. I was like, that's gotta be, it's already beautiful, but the way the people moved and the way that they talked and the small gestures that's shown in the face, I was like, oh, that's gotta be mocap. There's no way. It's not. Like, somebody drew that. Like, when I found that out, I was like, this is rare air. This type of art. I'm talking about just the art. Yeah. The scenes when you do get a chance to see the magic, like, there's a really good scene in episode, I think it is in episode 1, when the guy saves Jace, young Jace, the magician, and you get a chance to see the magic roll around.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful.
I mean, the animators was like, yo, we got to get him on this, and they got me.
Because it looked like a pure mage. It looked like something out of World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Yes.
With all the runes and everything.
Yeah, I mean, and we haven't even talked about sound design or score or the voice acting.
No, but
like, it's so many tens, but just the look, that was a super flex. The artistry of it. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's a very beautiful
the way that they used what I'm going to call graffiti animation. Mm-hmm. The way that they used like the graffiti art of Jinx, and when she was having her they matched what her character drawing were, like her little like cat scratch character was her main, like, her tag. Mm-hmm. And then when she was having her fits, when they would scratch that into her, like her tantrums. Yeah. And that was like, it looked like graffiti art that you could see what she was thinking and feeling. It mimicked it. So that episode with Echo, when the two of them went back to their childhood selves.
Oh my god!
And then you got the graffiti art with the two of them. That scene blew my life apart.
Yeah.
Chill.
That scene,
wow.
That scene, I was like, and I was ready to be done with that series. I said, I swear for everybody that's not listening to me right now, if Echo dies, I'm gonna flip the table and I'm not watching the rest of the series.
Everybody said that. Everybody that was like
watching anymore.
Echo better be around.
Jinx can die. If he dies, I'm so done.
I just love that whole scene. I just never seen anything like that before.
Never.
The only thing I'm mad about this being on Netflix is like I would have paid to go see this, like on a big screen. It was so just beautifully stunning, right? Just
yeah, but then we're looking at like
I know,
they
but
were
like,
looking at a 6-part movie. They would have ended.
I know,
Nah,
but it's
three-part.
Their episode. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
They did a 3-part movie. It'd have been a 3-part
Yeah.
movie.
That's what I'm saying. They would have
Yeah.
ended us after episode 3 because there was like.
Yeah.
well, there's
You know
only
what I
it was
mean?
40 minutes apiece. 40 minutes apiece. And that's one of the
It's
things
already
I
been greenlit for season 2, by the way.
yeah. It better be.
Oh,
Like, I don't know
yeah.
how it could not be.
Yeah.
And that was actually one of the things I thought that fell into line with the storytelling. Like, they did 9 40-minute episodes that were
They did 10.
tight.
Aren't there 10 episodes? No, there's 9. There's only 9 because it says 10 on IMDb, but that's just
Yeah.
because episode 2.1 is already up there. It's just
Yeah,
not,
right.
not visible.
It's 9, and it's tight. And we did not get boggled down in a lot of like unnecessary backstory and over explaining the property, just what it was. We lived in this world and we didn't have to go back and try to think. It just built on this world and got better and better. This was
I actually, there's one character, 2 characters, I would say, that I got enough. I got everything I needed, but I wanted more. I wanted to know what actually went down between Silco and Vander.
Yes, I
want to know what broke that friendship because we saw the aftermath.
Yeah, but I was happy they didn't explain it. I was like, just kept me tight right in there. So, you know,
they're both dead. So, I mean, whether or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. You could have given me, they gave me enough, but I don't know. I would have loved to have seen more because Vander was a dope character anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody has substance. That's the thing. The only person that didn't have a whole lot to me was Caitlyn, and she was still good. I think.
Did you want to look up to see the Cho Chang, the actress Katie Lung, who was Cho Chang in the Harry Potter universe, is the voice of Caitlyn.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's fun fact.
One of the things that you get out of the first book is stakes, and to me, if there's no real stakes, it's kind of hard to be like true investment when you know, like there was an Eddard Stark moment. When Vander passes, it's a bit of an Eddard Stark moment because you think, you know, he's such a pivotal character that, you know, that can't happen. The other 2 kids are the part of their gang, the one that looked like Vegeta and the other little fat kid. I was like, there's no way they're dead. There's no way. And they catch that full L, and it's like, yo, people can really die. Like there's like there's this woman, I believe she's Indian. She has this voice that's you cannot know.
Yes,
and she plays
you know
the
her.
main
like
sheriff.
I love her as a live action actress. Like
she's
I knew
amazing.
exactly who she was when I saw her. When I heard her voice, I was like, I heard
her voice and I was like, oh, that's top tier talent.
Which
That's top tier voice acting.
character was she?
She was the main sheriff, not sheriff, or the marshal. She was the marshal.
Okay. I know you.
That had a bit of that knew
with
Vander. Yeah, they knew each other. We didn't really know.
They
the
were
depths of how that
keeping
relationship
everything
was.
together. They were holding it all together, both sides, the Undercity and Piltover.
She died, and I was like, yo, the stakes are real. I didn't know who could not catch a hot one. At any given moment, somebody, you know, could be gone. And I loved that because every episode meant something.
Grayson. She was Grayson.
Oh, the marshal.
The officer. Yeah.
Officer,
Marshal
yeah.
Grayson. Yeah.
So
her
I
name,
love that they
I can't pronounce
established
her name
those
right,
stakes early.
Shareya Agdashlu. Like I've seen her in so many things. Like she's wonderful.
Great in The Expanse. She's got a big part in The Expanse, and she kills it. But that voice, because it's real raspy but strong, and you know,
and it came across in the character who she was. Like you imagine that character really sound like she's this tough old cop that's been around the block for years and years, and so she knows. She knows when to make deals. She knows when to have to enforce the law. She knows what wins and what losses there. You know, it's like sage and wisdom. So you could see her sounding like that. And I thought this actress really brought that character to life. But I thought that was about all the characters. I thought they all fit well with the characters that they had. Because was it Vander was a real stand-up guy. The way he protected them, I was like, is he making the right?
Yeah, he was like a better Fagin. He was like a good-hearted Fagin because he took these kids in. Everybody called them his kids, but they weren't his kids. They were street kids that had been orphaned. He had been friends with their family when they all, had to escape wherever they had to escape from, because we don't even know that yet.
Right.
We just knew that like they were trying to cross the bridge in order to get over, and their parents, at least Violet, Vi, and Powder, their parents had been killed, and Vander was the one that had them, was moving them not like a coyote or anything like that, but he was bringing the family in safely, and the parents were killed, and the daughter survived.
Yeah.
But I thought that and I know I'm jumping ahead, but Mama Dukes, who was the mother?
We gotta save her. We can't. That's blowing our wad early. We can't talk about her yet. We're blowing the wad too early.
No, wait, we're gonna get okay. I'm gonna stop. Wait, one second though.
I didn't see her coming. Nobody saw her coming though.
Nobody saw her coming.
Shot?
But the shot, yes, the shot when she's in a bathtub and the camera is in between her legs and it's so gangster. I mean,
everything about it is dope.
Beyond. And her reason as to like why she sent her daughter away is because you made me weak. I was like,
we gotta talk about it. Let's almost a grand finale. To me, she was a grand finale to me.
Yeah, let's build up.
Because they built her up the way they built her and let you know that with our character, who was one of our counselors, or one of our, I think they're called counselors, not chancellors. But yes.
You're talking about Mel, right?
I'm talking about Mel. Like one of our counselors had been exiled from her home nation. Mm-hmm. And she made her life in Piltover. Like she rose up because that's who she was. When she was teaching Jace the ranks, the ropes, when she was teaching him, like, how do you get things through? How do you get what you want? You got to you can't just come in and just wrecking stuff because you're putting a target on your back, my brother. Like this is what Eddard Stark needed. He needed someone to do that. She's Varys. She's the Varys of the crew, except that she's smarter than Varys. Like, in a way, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and she got them draws pretty quickly, boy. She put
no, it wasn't even. She knew what she wanted. But here's the thing: she knew what she wanted.
Turned him out real quickly.
Here's the thing: she knew what she wanted, and he knew what he needed. And at the end of the day, I don't even think he knew if he was feeling her like that until that scene the next day, like when he left her in bed alone, and he came back and just put his head in her lap. She was like, oh, it was like,
I think he knew immediately he wanted to.
Are we here? Oh, she was like, I got this. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I think she knew immediately. I think he knew immediately what he wanted because the guy's not going to come back. Yeah, I think he knew.
No. I think that initially when she first kissed him on that balcony, he was surprised. He didn't know. There was a moment of hesitation. And then it was like, okay, sure, we can have sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can fuck. But like, I think somewhere in there, in that night, he was like all in.
I think she turned him out. The kiss, the seduction, everything. Absolutely. She got them draws and he was whipped and he got up throughout the middle of the night and he came back.
His friend was dying.
Day.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she saw the writing on the wall. She saw where the power shift is, and the power shift is with Jace. I mean, with Jace. That is the power dynamic, and you need to either you either need to have it. You have to have that under your influence. Now, I do think that she likes him. I do believe that.
I do. I think she loves him.
She had to have that under control. Everything moves. He's the pivot. Everything moves with him
because he's the future.
She moved in. Yeah,
he's the future.
I was like, that's the smart move.
Like, she didn't even want to necessarily vote him out when they voted him out. She went along because she recognized that the council would see her not supporting them as a flaw in the Matrix, and so she went along with it. But the whole time she was scouting to see like what else can this kid do. And that's when she caught him and Victor and was like, show me something. You got a day.
Yeah,
You know
not
what I'm
even that.
saying?
She had 30 seconds because that guard was coming. He was like, "You better. This is your elevator pitch.
Exactly.
This is your elevator pitch." And
Well,
they
that was one
pitched
of
it
my
right.
questions.
Go ahead.
One of my questions was, would the council have listened to Jace, him being so new that way
Well,
and
without
voting
her?
out?
They didn't.
Without Mel?
He didn't have any evidence. That's what
No, what
was
I'm saying was like,
clout.
because he voted
did
out
not
what you
listen
call,
to him.
huh?
They did not listen to him. He was voted out. He was kicked out of school.
No, I'm talking
No, you're
about
talking
once
about
he becomes a councilman and he takes the step to vote out the funny looking
Humdinger.
Humdinger,
Hum-
yeah.
No, I
So
don't know if
is
that's
that-
not his name. It's Hum something.
Yeah. Is
But-
that possible with him being so new to the council that everybody
Not without
follows?
Mel. Not without Mel.
Not without. Well, Heimerdinger.
Heimerdinger.
Um.
Not without Mel,
He-
because Mel controls some of the other council members. There's a really good scene when she's picking out gifts for the council people, and she picks out a children's toy, and the guy's like, "Oh, that's a kid's toy. You don't really want that." And she was like, "I know who this would be perfect for. Somebody who's simple-minded, somebody that I can control." And that was
She'd
one of
win
the
me.
main councilmen.
She'd win me with that daggone toy.
She'd win me just by showing up. But that's to be honest. Yo, she's a cold piece of work. That's in Storm.
she's cold.
She was.
Yo,
But her
That's
mom-
what I'm know. I'm like, I was looking at her like, you should totally be Storm. If I could cast Storm, that would be her.
But she knows how to manipulate the council, and the council goes wherever she goes. She's the main pivot because she moves the guy that was the head of the council, and you could tell that she moved him because she got the toy for him. He's playing with it. It's like, this is such a great gift. And he was like the main dude, from my understanding, in the first book. Like, he was like the lead of the council, and she's just a council.
So is this a book or a video game?
It's a video game. I'm talking about book one as far as the Netflix series is
Because I think that's where the
So
episodes
she
are.
had-
So when you saying
she
book
had
one,
him
you talking
under-
about the first 3 episodes? Is book
Yeah, the
one?
first
Is
3
that what
Yeah,
it's
I
called?
think that's how the episodes are
Right.
classified as books.
So she had the most powerful guy in the room at that time under her thumb already. Like, you could just tell by the way that she walked around. So anything that she any move that she made, he would make, and then that would influence everybody else.
She voted
varies.
last. She voted last on the Heimerdinger vote out. She was the last vote
That was my only
because she questioned everybody else. Everybody else voted first. I thought that Caitlyn's mother was going to be I thought she was the last vote, but Mel was I'm pretty sure Mel was the last vote. She was not the first vote, I don't think.
And that was my only thing, was like, with him being so new and for them to kick out this established leader.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't really make any bad mistakes. He just wasn't moving along expeditiously. Would they have listened to Jace? I don't know. I just
At that
wondered
point, they were scared. At that point, there was a lot of fear because of where they were. They really wanted to use Jace's weapons or use Jace's technology as weapons. They wanted to weaponize it. The council did. And Heimerdinger was the one person that was like, no, and it had to be a unanimous vote. And in order to get the unanimous vote, they had to vote him out. So I think they would have.
I thought it was a unanimous vote to vote him out. It has to be.
It was a unanimous vote to vote him out. But then in order to turn his tech into weaponize it, I think it also had to be a unanimous vote because they were all wanted it. He was the only one who said no. He said no. And even Jace
didn't want to weaponize it either.
Jace didn't want to do it. Yeah, Jace didn't want to do it, but
it
the
needs more
other
time.
council members did. The other council members wanted to do it. They were fighting because they wanted to do it.
Okay.
So my guess, if I were in this cartoon world, is yes, I think they would have, because Heimerdinger was like the head of the council. So it's like, in theory, voting out Bran Stark? You know?
Well, he was the go-to for science. And
300 years.
Yeah.
Well, he's one of the
300
founders of the
years.
city. He's one of the founders of the city. Yeah.
So with him being gone, there has to be something to fill that void. And you've got the hottest guy. I mean, he was Man of the Year at the start of book 3. He's like, yeah, Man of the Year. And they had a whole thing with him being like pushed up as to be next up, the next anointed one, per se. So he was already a star in the community already, you know. So for him to sway the council probably wouldn't have taken a whole lot of effort. But I still don't think it would have worked if it isn't for Mel, because even though he's made some cool tech, all the council cares is how does it benefit them, and more than likely, how does it benefit them financially? That's why Mel had to pull him to the side and was like, let me pull your coattails real quick, because let me show you how to sway their influence. You have to go with their needs. And that may be a little bit shady, but this is how this works. If you would have just been in there good-hearted,
you're not here to see
this is just great technology.
Like, you're not here to watch
benefit
this.
them. Nothing moves. Nothing moves.
For all
without
intent and
them
purposes,
finding
right?
out.
This is a political show. This show is all about politics.
It's
Well,
it's the closest thing to Game of Thrones that I've seen thus far.
No, it's very Game of Thrones, because I know we're moving a little bit quick, because the big thing, the massive elephant in the room, is what Game of Thrones was brilliant for, and that is what's over the wall, and that's Mel's mom. Mel's mom is the messenger, saying very discreetly, there's something over that wall that was so dope, it kicked your brother's ass to the point that he got assassinated, and I had to come back to you because we need to get everything in line. All of this stuff that's going on in the city is just like what was going on in Westeros. It doesn't really necessarily matter to whatever that massive force is that's on the other side of that horizon.
Wait, there's one more layer. Mama Dukes instigated the war that Silco is now perpetrating. She needed Piltover and Jace to develop his weaponry, and she couldn't get them to do it unless there was a reason in the homeland. So she instigated this fucking war between the Undercity and Piltover. Yep. That's who Mama Dukes is.
She's dope. But I promise you, this little butt in the heads within the city, I promise you, it's not going to be anything compared to the White Walkers that we don't see. Mm-hmm. And I think Mama Duke sees the writing on the wall, and she's like, we need the weapons now.
I don't know. I don't trust Mama Duke. She's too savvy. I don't know what she did. She might have killed her own. So I don't know what she did to instigate this war and get them weapons, because she's
I don't know, but she about to lose another child. If the ending of this series is anything, and they ended it like that, I was like, you motherfuckers.
There's no way they're gonna kill Mel. They better not kill Mel.
If they kill Mel, that's another flip the table moment. Because I'm gonna tell you what, they can't kill Mel.
No.
But Randy, I don't want to jump your shark or your ship, but I really want to get into Centel's favorite conversation of every single series.
Villains?
Yes.
I was just going there. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, just
I just want him to. I just wanted you to start us off. How did you feel about the villains?
I was gonna say about Coco. Was he?
Oh,
not even.
I wasn't talking about him. Jinx is the villain. She's the number one.
Jinx annoys me.
Well, Jinx is like a bootleg Harley Quinn.
She is a bootleg Harley Quinn, and that's what I thought.
Slash Joker too.
Initially, slash a little bit of Scarecrow.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a poor man's Harley Quinn. Initially, you know what I'm saying? I was so done with her. Because you got, and this is what my initial problem, like I said, in the pilot, I was like, we got this basic story, two little white sisters. One is like, homely. The other one is like the hero of the story, and it's just, the little one's just irritating as fuck. I thought for sure it was going to be like, oh, watch the young one grow up to be this amazing hero, just like her sister. I thought Vi was going to die. And then Powder's going to rise up just basic as they usually do in these stories.
No.
Now, when Powder had her damn meltdown in episode 3 and like shat the whole bed and took the crystals, which she still the whole bed. I was like, I'm going to help, and blew everybody the fuck up. Yep. This bitch killed both friends and her daddy. She killed Vander.
They told her to stay her ass at home. All she had to do was stay at home.
Went crazy. She went crazy. All you had to do was stay the fuck home. They were out. Everything was fine. And then she sent her little flying monkeys in and ruined everything.
And it's not the first time she's ruined everything. It's like every mission she goes on, she fucked up. Everything. So something is really dangerous. They're like, boo, this is for your own good and our good too. Stay your ass at home. and then she messed up everything.
So
and
then,
you know what?
you
The
know,
old dude, the part of the guy, the guys that were part of the crew, the one that was the pickpocket before he got killed. I thought he was annoying as
Mouser,
well.
I think.
Mouser,
Yeah.
was that his name? Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure what. Let me see what his
I thought
name
he
was.
I thought he was like a little overbearing, and I kind of was feeling what Vi was saying. Is like, yo, you're always shitting on her. You know, like you won't give her a chance. But he knew. He's like, no, man.
He was trying to tell her.
Everywhere she goes, it's a problem. How are y'all not seeing that? And I didn't believe it either. I kind of believe. I was with you, Gordon. I was like, well, she's probably gonna blossom and bloom into the butterfly or whatever it is,
right?
And be. But that dude was right. He was right.
He was fucking right.
He was like, yo, she gotta go.
Right.
Every single time. Every time.
Milo.
It was Milo. She knew that, right? She knew it. That's why she told her, stay your ass at home. This is gonna be really dangerous. And I can't perform the best that I can, having to worry about you messing up something. So please do us all a favor. Nope. So
But this is what I was gonna say. Like, yes, initially after that breakdown scene in episode 3, and then when she like freaked out when after Vi seemingly left her, then she throws her whole life at Silco, and Silco's almost like, fuck. But he also needed someone too. You know what I mean? She literally became the daughter he didn't know he wanted.
Yeah. I thought their relationship was genuine. I really did. I thought
it was. 100%.
Silco 100% loved her as his daughter.
Oh yeah. I don't think
he was not giving her up.
Yeah,
he was not giving her up. He would have fucked that whole treaty. Fucked that whole treaty.
And I said that when it happened, I was like, he's not gonna sign that shit because I know I'm not giving up my daughter for no treaty. Fuck that. We could all go to war. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was
like
Silco's an interesting bad guy too because he's the best kind of bad guy to me because he seems like he's evil and he probably is, but the intentions behind it and his why is what's interesting. It's his why.
Yeah, he's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Well,
he was selling dope to his people, so that's messed up. That's messed up. He was selling dope to his people, but he was doing it like there was an end game to it. It wasn't to just enrich himself, right? You know, I think he genuinely wanted the independence of like the Undercity.
Well, he named the city. He planned to call it City of Zon.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's where him and was it Vander? Like that's kind of, I don't want to say Martin and Malcolm, but it was like they both wanted kind of the same thing. It was just the way they were willing to go about doing it, and it created a schism.
Well, it was the autonomy, I think, that they both agreed on wanting the autonomy from Piltover, but the way they wanted to do it.
Right.
Whereas Silco wanted to enslave the Undercity and control it. Xander wanted to support the people. He just wanted to take care of his people. Like he was very like Fagin about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to protect what's mine. I want to take care of mine. Right. And or even like Tormund. He reminded me of Tormund Giantsbane. Because Tormund Giantsbane, at the end of the day, after what is that? I can't believe the king under the mountain. After he died,
right.
Tormund kind of became the next de facto king, and he just wanted to protect his people. That's all. And I think that's what Xander wanted to be. You know, he wanted to do right by them. But Silco, I think that what he did for the city was more than Xander did. Like when you saw the city next after the 10 years later, it was a full-blown city.
Yeah, and I just thought their initial partnership was based on them wanting to liberate the city. And I just thought that Silco, the way he wanted to go about doing it, Xander was like, no, because we'll kill up a bunch of people and we'll become a menace to our own people. And Silco was like, you got to crack some eggs, to make an omelet. And so, because throughout their time,
Xander didn't even know Silco was still alive. It was a shock to him when he saw Silco because, I think so. It was a shock when he saw him because he didn't think Silco. He didn't know Silco was under the radar. He was just building and designing Shimmer. He only had like 2 or 3 test subjects of Shimmer. Right.
but he kept calling them weak. And I know that's something that happens a lot when friends, like, you don't have the balls to do what needs to be done.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately why Xander thought that he killed Silco.
Yeah.
He
And
thought
so
he thought that it was the one time that he used it, and because after whatever he did to Silco, almost killing him, Xander never lifted a finger. He never lifted a fist to anybody else.
no, he didn't.
It broke him. It broke him.
It broke him. It broke him. It absolutely did. And his people were starting to see that because they were starting to call him weak and rebel. Even
right, because he wouldn't rebel.
Like, yeah, why are you letting this?
Why are we not fighting?
Yeah, why are we not
fighting these people?
And when he died, I think Silco, he assumed that vacuum, and he had a plan for the city. He had a plan because he had when he met with Jace, he had a plan. Like, he's like, this is what I want. This is what, he had a full step of everything that he wanted.
So tell me if I missed something. Oh, go ahead and say yours. Go what you were going to say.
It's going to be a quick blurb. I just think that Silco just wanted independence. I think he wanted independence from the shadow of his big brother-ish, his best friend, because he's weaker than him, but he's still his own thing. And I think that there's that connection. And then he wants his city to have independence from something that's larger than him as well, that you just can't get out of its light, but let me do its own thing. And I think that's what he saw in Jinx, because there's a scene where Jinx is fighting the dummies, and no matter, even though she's gotten bigger and stronger and she's become more her own person, she still couldn't beat Vi's score. Like, Vi is kind of like that other symbol. Like, it doesn't matter. You're still not going to be as strong. So I think there's that. Yeah, there's that.
Jinx, and Jinx is him. It's like he sees himself in Jinx. You know what I mean? Jinx is Silco.
He raised her.
But no. Like, Jinx is Silco and Vi is Vander. So he sees that similarity between the two of them, which ultimately I think also endears her to him, because she's the smartest of the two. Like, Vi is all brawn. She's all brawn. Yes. And Jinx is the genius. I mean, she created those little like dragonflies that legitimately were bombs.
Yeah. And she cracked the code to the magic
she cracked the code to that, but even before that, like, she had her own bombs that damn near killed Jace. Jace, who is the city's genius, could not defeat her. He could not unlock her bomb. She unlocked his, but he couldn't unlock hers. He needed Victor to do it. He needed Victor to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? So that, to me, like, she is brilliant. If her mind hadn't broken, you see her little Alice in Wonderland tea party. And when I saw her little tea party, this is when I realized she is not just a bootleg Harley Quinn. She's the Mad fucking Hatter.
Ooh,
he's the Mad Hatter and Alice in Wonderland. She's the Mad Hatter and Alice all rolled into fucking one. She's the both of them. And so it's almost like she's smarter than, because Harley Quinn is basic brawn. You know what I mean? She's not stupid because she is the therapist. But it's like taking Tony Stark's mind and Harley Brain's body, you know what I mean? And putting them together. It's like, she's ridiculous. Like, when she sat in that chair and like, because she was telling Vi, you have to decide, do you want Powder or do you want Jinx? And Vi's like, I just want you. She said, no, you got to decide. And then ultimately she realized it wasn't Vi's choice. After she killed Silco, she realized it was her choice.
Yeah.
And homegirl sat down in that chair and owned who the fuck she was. And I was like, go ahead. Now that was the becoming of a villain.
Yeah, that's a good villain.
That was when I was like, I got on board with her little crazy ass. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get on your little train. I'm gonna get on your crazy train. Okay. Because that shit was the truth. But the question I was gonna ask beforehand to the both of you, did either of you, and tell me if I missed something, did either of you get the idea that Silco's meeting with Jace was not the first time?
I thought it was the first time. I didn't see anything because Jace hadn't been in power that long.
That's the only thing that would throw me.
No. Yes, but it made me think that Jace had some sort of, because Jace he didn't come from the Undercity like Victor did. Victor came from the Undercity.
Yeah.
But it seemed to me like Jace had some sort of connection. Like maybe he took money from Victor for his, Victor took money from Silco for his initial inventions, because it was just so random that he just happened to know how to get a letter to fucking Silco, and B, just that Silco would actually go to meet with him, that he would actually just show up unarmed and not expecting there to be like agents there. It seemed to me, and the way they talked to each other, it seemed like this was a familiar conversation. It did not seem to me like these are two people who are meeting for the first time. I'm just saying.
So as in like this was the plan all along?
No, as in I think that Jace, if there is a connection between the two of them, I think Jace utilized some money from Silco in return for something else in the future. But I think it got away from Jace, because I don't think that's not ever what Jace had, because it's the way they negotiated, the way he said, this is what I want. This is what I want from you. I'll give you this. What do you want? Like, it was just so nonchalant. Like there were two people that had talked before.
Yeah.
It just did not seem like they were new to each other.
I feel okay. I never thought about that until you said that, and it's starting to make a little bit more sense the more I think about it. Simply because Silco got a whole lot of money. Like he's smuggling that stuff in. That's why you kind of started book 3 off of that with the smuggling of the drugs coming in. It starts with that, and who's running that and controls that? It's only Silco, with the exception of Victor's mentor, maybe. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's a whole.
We'll get into him. We'll get into Victor.
But
Basically Frankenstein.
if you look at Silco's world, it is kind of redefined. There's more people in the bar. There's more people walking in the underground. Like he's brought prosperity down there, but it's dope money.
Yeah.
And if you got dope money and you talking to somebody that's on the higher echelon, the best way that you can talk to them is through money. So I can see kind of where you're going with that. I don't see how all the strings connect, but I can see how that could be possible. Like that is the deal with the dough.
It was just too simple. It was too easy that he sent a letter to him when literally the House of Talos, in theory, had just been started. He literally just became a counselor like maybe a week ago.
Very true. Yeah.
So the House of Talos, so for Silco to already know that symbol was the House of Talos, and knew that he got a letter, because the letter came to Silco and he looked at it like it was either expected or familiar. And he showed up and was like, it's odd for you to show up here without any.
He says that it's odd for you to show up there without any security. This would be like, I think, what's the word he used? Like it'd be a perfect place for like a hit or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, there is a way he could have got in touch with him, because all this happens after the raid when they go down into the underground, and then he accidentally kills the kid, and then he wants some kind of repentance. So his people are already down there, so they could have made the connection that way. That's the only other way that I can think of, because he did something that jacked him up. You killed the kid, and he's like, okay, we got to end this now, and let's broker this peace. And since he's already down there, maybe that interaction. That's the only thing that I can think of that could maybe undermine that. But yeah.
I just wanted to know if anybody else picks up anything.
Yeah, Silco's a villain though. Don't get it twisted. Silco's a villain though.
He is a villain. He is a villain. He's in it for himself, and he's in it for his family.
And what he did to his own people. The underground is the perfect example. Like the crack house, the trap house.
The trap house. The trap house. I was talking about
underground.
He's selling dope to his people and got them strung out. Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Jacked up, like all the way jacked up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they sold him out. Like I didn't even recognize who that dude was, who was clearly a friend of Vander's, that sold out Vi and Caitlyn when they were down there. Mm-hmm. But like, I mean, I can't even, like the scene with Lockjaw when what's her name? Who his number 2? Silco's number 2.
I liked her.
Um,
She grew on me.
gosh,
She grew on me.
She grew on me. She grew on me with that fucking like Winter Soldier arm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yo, when they was fighting so hard, they had to get a drink. I loved that scene.
right?
Yo, I was like, wait a minute, let me get a shot right quick.
But that's a really good scene when like you said Lockjaw, like, you know, he's attempting to take over, and you see the knife come out, and you like thinking, oh, she's gonna stab Silco, and she kills him instead. He ran a pretty tight ship, and then she asked him, was like, what were you almost attempted?
Savika, I think her name was Savika.
Yeah, were you almost attempted? Were you tempted to, you know, go along with him? And she was like, not him, but you know, if I get a better offer.
Yo, my favorite Silco scene was when he runs up on the Underground Council, because they have their own council too. When he runs up on the Underground Council and he changes the air
said you forgot where you came
OG
from.
air quality, the original OG air quality, just so he could remind the council where you come from. He's like,
where they came from.
I knew this place when the air was jacked up, and he changed the air on him. Everybody's putting a mask. He walks around without even having a mask on. I was like, flex yo gangster.
Not only did he put the gas in it, he stopped the fans. Yeah. The fans stopped moving.
And you got a dude that can't even, he can't even breathe. And he's like, this is what I'm built in, dog. You're not ready for this.
Then he took a breath from the mask. Like, you are breathing my air. Like, you are breathing the air.
I think that's the metaphor, right?
I give you.
Like,
and then he threw it at him.
I literally own the air.
I literally own the air. This is my air.
Right.
Like, I'm giving you my own breath. Don't fuck with me. Like, I was like, I can't even. That scene was flawless.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen somebody come in gangster like that, since Heath Ledger as the Joker, when he went in there and burned all the money. I was like, I don't want the money. I don't give a fuck about the money.
I was thinking Nino Brown, like in New Jack City.
Very Nino Brown. But like, I mean, there were so many layers. There were so many layers. And okay, I was gonna go into Victor.
Oh no, well, I was gonna go into Vi, because I thought, so this is a bit of a controversial thing, and that is, how do you make believable combat without the bias that's associated with women fighting? There's just a bias. It's just there, unfortunately. And it's difficult to make those scenes that smaller people like Bruce Lee just get a pass for, because because of the size difference. It's difficult for women to get that pass, right? Because of the physical thing. But Vi, the way they did her fight scenes made everything unquestionable. It was one of the few times, because even I have that bias at times. I know it's a horrible bias, but it's just the truth that's there when I'm watching stuff. I'm like, nobody that small is going to beat somebody that large. But when you see Vi get down, like, it's no, I'm gonna just beat you with quickness all the time. That's normally the thing that people kind of lean on. It's not just, I'm a Black Widow you, which works. Her fight style was a little bit different because it's personal, one, because she gets up in your face with it, and she puts hands on you, and she does it
amazing
in a way.
hands.
It's so believable. I never doubted. Not one time. I'm like, yo, this chick can fight.
Totally
She's
believable.
a straight boxer. She's a straight boxer and brawler. And this is a girl who's been in prison for like 10 years. Even before then, she had her like little robotic arms, and she went in on all of Silco's dudes. She took them all on and out. There was legitimately only like one dude left that she couldn't take, and Vander put hands on him.
Yes.
Yeah, even like the girl chick, she was taking the drugs that was making her stronger, and Vi was still giving her that business. Yeah.
Oh, one of the best fight scenes was those two going at it. I was like, this is how these fight scenes, this is how action should be going down. This is where Yasuke missed. It's like, this is visceral. Cause like that moment, like they're tired. Like they squabbing. Yeah. They squabbing. She goes up to the bar, she gets that drink. They take a moment and it was like, all right, let's go. We ain't done with this. give me these all the time. It's one of the reasons why I love one of the main characters in Jujutsu Kaisen. I forgot his name. It's this. His fight scenes are off the chain. He ain't shooting laser blasts and all that. It's this, bro. We gonna get it down.
I think that's what you're talking about.
And as you said, it was believable. It was just believable because I think her fighting style too. She was a boxer and she was trained as a boxer. And you could tell like it was professional with it because she was catching and so it was like totally believable that she's knocking people around like that. And then when she threw on those mechanical arms, you was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah.
No, but when she and Jace
and this mano on that bridge, I was like, yes, you can't run from this.
No, but when she told Jace, when she and Jace went down there together, Jace had his hammer. And she had the gloves, and she told Jace, he was like, "You got to give those back to me. I'm not leaving here without them." She said, "Come get them."
Yeah, I loved it.
Come get them. I was like,
you feel like
he knew better. He knew better. He knew she was going to take that hammer from him and the gloves.
Yo, her fight scenes were legendary, man. Every time I knew she was about to fight, I knew we was going to be in for a show.
Is Jace built? Is he built? I mean, he can't like. He got freaked out.
He had his Aquaman. He had his Aquaman shot when he was down there going to the forge to clear his mind, get back to where his dad and his family, got back to. He had his Aquaman shot, and working on that hand. I was like, look at you and your Aquaman shot. Look at me lusting over another cartoon. Okay.
So I was like, he got his chest out for real. I'm like, all right, I guess. I mean, we here.
I don't know. He got spooked a little easy for me. A little too easy. Like,
well, he killed a kid. This is someone who's never. He uses science to improve life, and he took a life. Yeah. Like that's not. I mean, that's normal for maybe Vi. Maybe even. Right. It wasn't even normal for Vander. It broke Vander. So the fact that he kept going.
Is he built for it?
Not for that.
Take lives? No.
That's
why he broke it.
But that's why he needs mail. That's why he needs mail. For whatever next is coming, he's going to need mail in order to give him the courage to go whatever the next step is. He can't do it by himself.
Yeah.
Because that's what he admitted to her. She told him, "You don't know anything about war. I've come from war." And he got, a little sensitive about it. And he had to come correct. He came back and was like, "You know what? You were right. I don't know anything about war."
I'm not built for this.
This is not what I do. Yo, and I wanted her to be like, yo, you think I'm gangster with it? Wait till you see my mama. Can we talk about her?
Well, the mom ran up on him, right? He did. The mom ran up on him. Was like,
I'm here, all of me. And my birth I was just born.
Yeah, she was like, And
I was like, I can't with you.
When she got out that tub, I was like, oh shit, they really did this. When the little guy first rode up on the ship and she was like, "I'm going to taste the foreign delicacies," I was like, "Oh shit!"
God, it was a little white boy.
She had the black mama pull up on the side. She hopped in the whip, brought in the dude. I was like, "Yeah, with your gangster self, shit." Yes.
And then when she was taking the bath and she got out the bath and Jace started oh, she was like, "No, baby, come on, we good. Come on, I need to talk to you."
It's like it felt like in her head, it was just like they just titties. Chill out. We good.
Right, that's what she was saying, right? Like
that's how it felt.
She was kind of predatory, right? She was kind of predatory.
She wasn't predatory. She was confident.
Yeah,
she wasn't predatory. She was confident.
No, she's predatory. She's forcing on people with less power than her. She's predatory. If there was a guy in that scene, y'all be like, yeah, this guy's predatory. She's predatory. She's predatory.
I disagree. I think that for me, Randy, I feel like that.
I think it could be both.
I don't think it's predatory. I think it's like that's if you're in the wild, you know what I'm saying? Like that's dominant. It's the difference between predatory and dominant.
What is the difference between predatory and dominant?
She's complete. What is the predatory?
What is the difference between predatory?
That's coming from a place of like primal.
You're a predator. That's what predator.
Are you gonna let me answer the question, or are you just gonna talk over me and give me your answer?
Well, man, we're having discussion.
That's not a discussion. That's you talking at me and trying to give me your. So you gonna let me answer the question?
Please go ahead.
What I'm saying is predatory. Predatory is primal. That's coming from a place of like animalistic, like you getting in the battle, in the fight, and it comes from this place of darkness. seemingly when you use the word to define another person, not just in the wild, but dominant. If it's a woman and it's anybody coming at The Witcher has come. Henry Cavill has stepped up out of the tub as The Witcher several times. Nobody said a word. That's not predatory, right? That's not predatory.
Yeah.
But the woman stands up to have a conversation. She's not trying to battle him. She's trying to let him know who she is. There is a difference. That is dominant. That is domination. Exactly, she dominated him.
She was battling him. She was predatory.
Yes. It was more than just that too, though, because there's a reveal in that bathtub scene that really cements who the fuck she is, and those are her scars, and she's got a lot of them. Like, she has scars on her back, on her leg. Like, she ain't just talking it. Like, she's been there. Like that woman puts hands on somebody in a very personal way.
Absolutely.
In a very personal way. But and I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But when you say in terms of predatory, it makes it seem like she's predatory in terms of like she's lusting after Jace. She don't give a fuck. If he want to lay down and fuck her right then, I think she would. I don't think she'd give a fuck about it. But I don't think that was her goal. Her goal was there to dominate him. I need you to understand who you are and what I need from you. And this is my first way to disarm you. She was disarming him. She beat him at his own game by simply stepping out of a bathtub. She won the war. One moment.
We just gonna agree to disagree. I think that was everything you described as predatory behavior.
Yeah, but when you define it in terms of a woman coming at saying it's sexual, then that it looks like from a sexual perspective.
I said predatory.
But predatory, when you have an older woman and a younger man and you label it as predatory, it's automatically a sexual innuendo built in there. I'm just saying, that's the way it comes across to me. And that, I don't take that from that scene.
I see where the both of you are. I think the both can exist. And I'm not even trying to just be like, let's just all be kind. I think when you are a person in power, especially when you see this in men, one of the perks of being in power is you get whatever the fuck you want. And if that comes with sexual favors and taking somebody's innocence as a result to getting the ends of your the means of your end, you do it. She doesn't strike me as the person that asks for anything. She's powerful. And with that power comes, look at many world leaders. If she wants to take whatever sexual favors that she wants from anything that's in the room, she has the power to do it. I don't think that's her priority. I think she's too strong to make that be like, this is the thing.
Exactly.
I'm trying to feed and take the sex.
Like that's not her agenda.
I do think if she wants it, she's going to take it. I think anything, I don't care what it is, be it sex, be it money, be it power, be it favors, be it friends, it's just power. And she applies it to everything. Her whole aura is, I take what I want.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. And that to me is like why I said that's the whole reason she sent her daughter away, because you weakened me. Not because I don't love you, because you weaken me, because you're literally my kryptonite. You're literally my kryptonite. And I need all of my power. I need all of my faculties. I need people to know I am beyond reproach. She was honestly, she came in at the 11th hour and she was my favorite fucking character.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. She's absolutely
100%.
And they set the tone very well with the flashback. And you got the little girl and she's like, you got to make a decision. This is war, and she's having a hard lesson that she's trying to teach her daughter. And her daughter is not built like that. She's strong in a different way. She's not the same type of strong as she is. And she was like, okay, well, let me show you my power. If you can't do this, you're still going to learn this lesson. And I'm going to show you my power. And she took that child and she killed her in cold blood in front of her daughter.
Yep.
And be like, we don't even know. There's a lot of different ways you can do power. Let me show you mine. I thought that was, it's villainous to tell you the truth. But it had a purpose as well. So she's riding that line. I think Johnny is right. I don't know if she is on the side of good. I think she's going to be Mel's weakness. I think she's also probably going to push Mel to a whole other level too. I think we haven't seen Mel's full arc because I think it may be in her, but she just hasn't had a reason to it. But killing a kid to me is automatic villain status. Don't care what the reason is.
Yeah. I don't think she's good per se.
Yeah, I don't think she's a good person.
I think she has an agenda. I don't think she's good or bad. I think she has an agenda. I think her agenda is her own, and the only thing she cares about is her ability to remain in power and in control. I think whatever the White Walker is that's over and wherever her people are that took out her son, beating that person is the only thing she cares about. And she will fuck over anybody, because you didn't just come for my son, you coming for my kingdom. You took my heir.
Yeah, there's something shady about the son too.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a threat. It's just, it poses a threat. Whatever it was that killed her son poses a threat to her power and her kingdom.
Yes.
And how do we know what happened with that? Did she send her son out?
Like, that's what I'm saying. We don't.
And it could be a Vader Anakin Skywalker situation.
That's what I'm saying.
Could be the son. It could be. It totally could be. I don't know what her deal is. All I know is she started that war in Piltover so that she could get those weapons. And that to me gives her, I mean, she's the ultimate big bad. She's the shadow that nobody knew was there.
And that's the thing, like, Mel, to beat her mother, like, you've got to go all in.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's no half measures.
It's no half step and it's no three for like, you're going all in. Like, you've got to go to that level of, I don't know, shrewdness to beat her. So to beat her, it's got to change you. Yeah. And I'm not saying that change is going to be for the better.
I think I'm with you step for step with that, fam. I think she's going to be a make or break for Mel.
And I think, first of all, Mel's got to be willing to see that Mel doesn't even know that her mother is necessarily, she doesn't know that her mother's behind it. I think Jace is the only one that figured it out. Didn't he figure it out? Did anybody figure? I thought somebody figured it out at the end.
I thought she told Jace, didn't she?
No, Mel did figure it out, didn't she? Didn't she go to her? Yeah, she did figure it out because they had a last fight. That was their last fight when the mom admitted it.
Oh, yeah, right. She tells her. Yeah, she tells her. Like, they killed your brother, and
she's like, I started the war. It was like Jack Nicholson saying, I ordered the code red.
Yo, she really is that character, though. She really is that. She's like, I go through these things to protect your ass. I stand on the wall. Yeah, that is absolutely her. Yeah.
And like their kingdoms, like that's what they do. Like when you go take over a kingdom, you kill the king's kid. So like they're never seen as a threat. Like Augustus Caesar killed Cleopatra's son by Julius Caesar. It was like, nah, he ain't gonna come back one day and be laying claims to the throne. So she was like, this little girl is a symbol. There could be people out there who want to follow her one day. We gonna nip this in the bud right now.
Yo, it was so gangster, dog. I was
like,
there's no way they're gonna kill a kid. It's so taboo. There's 3 things in Hollywood you don't kill: old people, kids, and dogs. Those are the big 3.
And 3 kids died brutally.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, like
more. Don't you think? Because in what with the show, Maya and Me, they killed a bunch of kids, and
but that's a cultural difference, though. You're right. You are right. You're absolutely right. But I think that's a culture thing. I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, but it's like,
in their culture, it means.
And Game of Thrones killed a bunch of them too. Game of Thrones killed. They killed
one in the womb.
They killed kids. They killed a bunch of kids.
Game of Thrones set the precedent.
That's even
worse. Game of Thrones set the precedent. They was like, we don't give a fuck. We'll kill animals, children, and old people. Anybody can get it. But like, oh man, can we talk about Victor now?
Sure.
He's the wild card to me.
He's fucking Frankenstein. And when Sky died, and he, I was like, girl, let him go. Like, let him go, girl, please let him go.
She was so happy because she knew she was about to win him over.
She
Yeah.
did.
knew. She was biding her time. She was like, I'm gonna get you sooner or later. I admire you. I love you. Oh,
He was
man.
like, "Oh, do you want to walk me home?" He's like, "No, I'm going to stay here overnight." Then
But
she
it's like
had
the
her little pitch
classic.
going. She had her little pitch going in to see him, and yeah,
Yeah,
It's like the classic, like, I don't recognize that anybody could love me because I don't love myself. So he didn't even see that she even had a minor feeling for him. He just thought he was like worthless, only useful to science, completely oblivious.
But his
So if you'd have
mentor,
got
I
some a
forgot
little
his name,
earlier
the
in
guy in
life,
the cave. Go ahead, please finish.
Oh no, I was just making a joke. I said if he'd have got some earlier in life, he wouldn't have turned into a mad scientist. Is that what we said? You know?
You know what I'm saying? He liked the little black girl. He had his little boat, and the little black girl came and watched him. Was like, nah, dude, and went back to her little friends.
Yeah, that's how we cure all mad scientists. Let them get some early in life, and you know.
Yo, but there's you stupid. No, there's an undertone that's a little bit chilling, and that is, and you see it with Victor when he meets his mentor, and the mentor has the creature, and the undertone that I'm getting in this whole series is that sometimes you have to sacrifice innocence in order to get what you need in order to move forward. And you had this cool, cute little creature, whatever that thing was, that was crying the fluid or whatever it was. And then, you know, you flash forward the shimmer, yeah. Or whatever the essence of shimmer before it's changed into its final form or whatever it is. Yo, and you see 20 years later, that creature is still chained up in the lab, in the tank. You know, like, they're still like,
yeah, because he said the mutation must survive.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just so jacked up. I think Victor is probably going to be like an Anakin kind of thing. He's going to cross over to the dark side. But his mentor, I don't know what his name is. His mentor got ties to Silco. He got ties to Victor. And I think those
he was
Heimendinger.
Heimdinger's old lab partner.
That's what it was. So what I think he's going to be a major importance. And he's setting the tone of just the destruction of innocence, and it's just uncomfortable. Oh, I love it.
I think Victor is going to be. I think he's gonna like be taken over by that whatever they're like hex key or hex code or whatever it's called. I forget what it's called, but like 'cause I know their company is Hex Tech. I mean, he's giving it its blood, his own blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, he about to become like Vision.
Well, he started running, right? And then all of a sudden he went back to the cane again. So I was like, oh, I didn't know. I thought it was like a permanent thing, or maybe.
I don't think he went back to the cane. Like, it literally healed his leg, but it didn't heal his condition. You know what I'm saying? Like, his leg is now Hex Tech, but it didn't clear the like either blood disorder or you know, terminal disease, because he's still coughing up blood.
Yeah. And when they go into the Hex Tech, it looks so beautiful. I mean, the animation there, the way they change it in the purple and it all mixes, it's just like, wow, they really spare no details.
Can we talk just briefly before we close everything out? Because I know we're getting close. About the sound design and the themes and the music. Were any of you
and Echo?
Either of you?
We never really talked about Echo.
Yeah, okay, and that was the thing that I was kind of like going to segue into it. I didn't realize how rich the theme music was and the soundtrack was until they took to me was a left. Because they had Imagine Dragons for a lot of it. Imagine Dragons did like the intro, a lot of like the stuff where certain tones need to be said. Imagine Dragons kind of did that. So it had that feel, and that was cool. Once I jumped into the world, I'm like, all right, cool. But then they took a left with Echo and Pusha T. And I mean, yo, they start the episode with Pusha T. It's one of the most, that episode is the one that is so different than all the other ones, because you get a chance to see Echo, who takes a physical change that's absolutely gangster too, with the war paint and the dreads and the surfboard thing, the like hoverboard. He's coming in to Pusha T. Then he meets up with Jinx in the middle of the battlefield, and that whole flashback to their youth. The music is banging, and they're battling his kids, and he's kind of like remembering it a little bit, and then it's just, I was like, yo, this series.
That scene was magic. That scene was pure magic. That whole episode was the best episode I've seen on television in a really long time. Because like from everything, from him like telling Caitlin, like him catching Caitlin and Vi, then he shows them that life can happen in the Undercity. He's got this beautiful tree when he's collected all these kids. He has designed all the tech down there. He's every bit as smart as Jinx.
Yep.
He's every bit as smart as Jinx.
Yes.
And because Heimdinger was like, what? How did you design this? And why did you design this? Like what's going on? But like even before that, like that whole episode, we're getting to see the way he is politicking the game, because he watched his Benzo, his mentor who took him in as a child. He watched him die. And then he thought Vi was dead. And even then he wasn't letting Vi all the way back in. He was like, I need to know what you about. I need to know what you want, because I'm not trying to let you in until I know what it is you're going to do, because she's not there anymore. Your sister is gone. You know what I mean? Like, he went with Caitlin. He took her to the bridge. He's like, I'm not giving this up until I go with you. I need to do this. And when he finally saw what was going on, he saw the agents, and then Jinx shows up, and then he saves Caitlin's life, and then throws her the thing. Was like, I got this. Go. Because you need to go and save the city. Done.
Yeah.
Done.
It was
he was so dope. I don't even have words.
I didn't even see him coming. I hate to say it.
I did.
I kind of forgot about him.
No, I didn't. I was like, where is he?
I
was like, where? I knew that was him. I knew that was him on the hoverboard in episode 4, the beginning of episode 4, when it started and the firelights came in. I knew that he was the leader of the firelights. I knew then. No idea. I knew, because he was the only one unaccounted for. He's the only one that we knew survived, but was absolutely unaccounted for. So when he went back for the girl, the little redheaded girl that Jinx ultimately killed, I knew that he tried to say, I was like, that's got to be him. That's got to be Echo. And so then when they revealed him in episode 7, I was like, I'm done.
It was great. It was great. And the scene was great. So, guys, we've talked about this ad nauseum. So we need to re-rate this thing over again. So
no, we don't. I mean, we do, but has anybody changed?
All right. Okay. So we good. We gonna keep it as a full binge out.
Yeah, man. I still think it's for animated series of 2021. I think it's best in show, and that's saying a lot, because I love Jujutsu. I loved Jujutsu Kaisen, and I think now that we've actually sat and talked about it, yeah, I think this might get Jujutsu. And the beauty of it as well, because Jujutsu took 21 episodes, 22 episodes,
something
in order
like
to tell this full story.
Yeah.
So there were a couple of stories that was just like, okay, from this for 9, it's like a hot 9, dog. It's like they drop a hot 16 bars on you, and was like, okay, and then I
thought it was great. Like 9 episodes, 40 minutes. To tell this type of story in that time frame, I was like, whoa, that's how you do it. I mean, it made it a whole lot easier for Bingeworthy too.
Yeah, I'm just talking about, like, it's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful to hear. The voice acting was amazing. Like, it was really good voice acting. The story was dope. There was not one time I grabbed my phone. Not one. It had
the soundtrack. I was like, is that Pusha T on this soundtrack? And I was like, and
I don't know who Pusha T is.
He's a rapper from the Clips. Yeah, he's a big.
But he's a rapper that focuses on moving weight up and down freeways for the most part. He's like your modern day drug dealing rapper. But he's dope. He's dope.
But Jasmine Sullivan's got us, because it's our song. It was almost like a Motown song. I was like, what the hell are they doing on this soundtrack?
With the old jukebox, with the jukebox records.
Yeah.
Like, the music was really thought out. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So yeah. Long story short, too late. Absolute binge out. It's one of the best in show. It's the reason why you get excited to check out this stuff.
It's definitely.
Hold on. Hold your thought for a second. Hold on. Was she skipping for you?
For me too.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, we just want to make sure that we can get your full thought because you were skipping. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay. I said, what did I say? I said in terms of like, it was definitely a groundbreaking series. In what it brought me connected to a new world. And that's the biggest thing. I always want right now for you to give me something new, because everything is usually regurgitated old stories. That's why I was mad at the pilot. I'm like, I know this story. You know what I mean? So this is fresh. It is fresh. And am I breaking up? Did I break up?
No, you're good. Yeah, it's a little bit, but I think we're
I heard the last
part. Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of like, I definitely would say of what 2021, it's amazing. It's for me still like the last season of Attack on Titan. You haven't watched it yet. I have never screamed out loud. I have screamed. Nothing has ever made me scream out loud to the point that I got like neighbors and my roommates like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like literally screaming the top of my lungs. So it hasn't achieved that status yet, but episode 7 with Echo came doggone close.
I'm gonna keep it was to the point. It was fun. It was
binge-worthy.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys something. Do you all think like visually, is this a game changer or is this kind of like an outlier and an exception?
I think it's an outlier. That looks expensive. And it looks like a labor of love.
It looks very expensive.
It does.
And I think because anime is really taking everything by storm in animation, what happens is that you get into these let's get it out quickly kind of thing. And nothing about that animation felt like they were trying to get it out quickly. It looked like a labor of love. And I don't think you can like just mass produce that.
Okay. Cool.
I hope I'm wrong though, because I would love to see more people step up. I really do hope I'm wrong.
I don't necessarily want them to step up and do something exactly like that. I want them to step up and do something fresh. The same thing this did.
Okay, cool. All right. Miss Courtney Scott Wright, you got anything to say? Any parting words? Oh, did she freeze?
She froze.
No.
Oh.
Okay,
Am I froze? I can see that.
On the screen. Okay, now we do. Okay. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah.
It just froze for a second. Okay. Cool. Centel, you got any parting words for us, man?
Yeah, and I'm hoping to influence the judges in the court. Listen, there's another show out right now, and I brought it up before, but until I started watching it, I didn't really understand how amazing it is, and I'm only halfway through it. We need to seriously consider Foundation.
I think it's next up on the list.
Oh, I think we lost. Okay, there she goes. I think she's better come back. Yeah, it's a lot of people of color doing their thing. So, and it's dope, man. It's good. So that's it. That's I want to end on that. I want to.
I think Foundation is next up on the list. All right. Well, that concludes our show, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Shouts out as always to Digital Click. They provide the scenery and the marketing and all of those things that help us to look good. Please consider subscribing, liking, or whatever it is, however medium that you're watching this on, if it's on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, consider subscribing, liking, all of those things that are above, because the Geekish Network is a network owned by people of color, and we have lots of talent. We've got actors, actresses, and writers and directors and all types of things, people of color. And we're trying to bring you fascinating and entertaining stories. Also, tomorrow we have Origins Illustrated. That is our show. It is comic book news, sci-fi, fantasy from a female perspective. And our very own Miss Courtney Scott Wright is one of the excellent co-hosts on that show. So if you liked what you saw here, you get to see Courtney doing her thing a little bit more tomorrow with her co-host. And also we have Geek Beast. Geek Beast is Centel and Chuck and Carl. They fight it out and talk about all the latest happenings in the world of geek. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. Next week we're doing Foundation. I think that's what's on the list next week. So we're gonna review.
Yes. Wait, can you tell me what show you were talking about? Because I like dropped out of the party.
I was talking about something that is just really good and really does a good job.
Oh yeah, that's what I've been telling.
Foundation is.
I've been telling you. I was like,
really good.
y'all gotta start. Nobody has started. It's so that pilot.
I'm only halfway
through.
I'm only halfway.
About it. No, but that pilot was bananas. I haven't finished it yet either. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Cool. So hey, got more to look forward to. Tune in next week and hear what we think about Foundation. So as always, see you guys next week. Same back time, same back channel. Peace.
Yeah. All right. Yo, my bad.
Now you